GoPro just launched the Hero 13 Black, except this isn't it, this is a Hero 12. But I did order it on launch day. I've always been a huge fan of GoPro cameras. I've owned pretty much every one since Hero 3, except Hero 8. I've used many action cameras over the years, but the one I always come back to is the GoPro. It's reliable, it's easy to use, it's very solid, it's very robust, and always produces outstanding image quality. Now, GoPros aren't perfect. They're quite heavy, they're quite bulky, and there are other action cameras that definitely have better performance in low light. But overall, I find that GoPros remain my preferred choice for hiking, running, cycling, and also for vlogging when traveling. I am, however, very concerned for the future of GoPro. In this video, I'm going to talk a bit about Hero 13, but I'm more going to talk about what I think GoPro needs to do going forward, because I'm genuinely very worried about them. GoPro were always the innovator in the action camera space. They created it, and they always came up with the latest cutting-edge technology with better and better resolution, higher performance sensors, better waterproofing, sensor size, performance, accessories, battery performance, and for many years produced some of the coolest action videos that have ever been seen on social media. Other companies, large companies like Garmin, like Sony, they also launched Me Too products that kind of clung on to some slightly different specs in the hope that GoPro's user base would be tempted away. Sony pretty much failed at this, and Garmin tried very hard, but in the end failed after 2 generations of the Verb camera, and they pulled out of the market quite gracefully. But in the last 2 or 3 years, GoPro's kind of lost their edge. DJI came along. They launched the Action series of cameras, which has developed now into the Osmo Action 4, which is a very capable action camera and certainly a credible alternative to GoPro. Insta360, having effectively taken the 360 consumer camera market completely away from GoPro's Max, are now on the same camera stage with their Action Ace and Ace Pro. Even though this is their first generation action camera, the specs and the performance, they're very compelling. Insta360, while we're talking about them, have also definitely stolen GoPro's crown when it comes to cool social media action footage. I can't remember the last time I saw anything from GoPro in amongst all the 360 and Ace Pro footage I see in my social media from Insta360. And when it comes to 360 cameras, GoPro last launched the Max in 2019. That's 5 years ago. There had been multiple generations of Insta360's X series of camera. We're now up to X4 in those 5 years. Now, looking firstly at Hero 13, this looks like a very, very capable camera. There are some things that are new and there are some things that are not. We've got a number of new lenses and ND filters, all of which work seamlessly with the GoPro, that then recognizes when they've been installed and adjusts the settings to suit. I've got all of them on order as well, apart from the amorphic lens, because that doesn't come out for a few months yet. We have better battery performance, and we have a heatsink on the front as well, which suggests that maybe all those people who claim their GoPros overheat might actually have been right. Incidentally, I've never ever had a GoPro overheat, ever, in 13 years of using them. But generally, I'm shooting at 24 frames a second for any video that's longer than 60 seconds. So maybe that's why. We have a new battery, which annoyingly makes the older batteries obsolete as the form factor is different. I don't quite know why they've done that. I don't believe it's just to squeeze more power into the battery. We've now got a magnetic mount system, which is a really good implementation, as it doesn't remove the secure finger mount or the tripod mount of Hero 12. There are times when you want a quick mounting system, such as a magnetic base system, but oftentimes you want something more secure. GoPro's now added all those options into one camera. Kind of like how that looks. We've got some welcome returns too that were missing from Hero 12. We've got GPS back. That was glaringly absent from Hero 12. I really think they screwed up their product management meetings when they decided to remove GPS. But thankfully, they've turned that around. GPS is back in Hero 13. They've also got rid of that it needs a good, clean, speckled look of Hero 12. A lot of the key components, and let's talk here about the internal components of Hero 13, haven't changed since, well, in some cases, quite a few GoPro generations now. We had the same sensor as Hero 12. Now, that sounds reasonable, but it's also the same sensor that was in Hero 11. We had the same hypersmooth version as we had in Hero 12. We got the same processor that was in Hero 12. Yeah, that's okay. But it was in Hero 11, and wait for it, it was in Hero 10. That's 3 years ago, and we're still working with the same processor. Now, if we talk accessories, many accessories like the Volta handle, the Media Mod, and so on, they fit Hero 13, which is quite welcome. We had the same ultra-wide-angle lens that was called Max Lens Mod 2.0 a year ago with Hero 12. It's now just called ultra-wide. I think it is anyway. But if you put it on, the camera now detects that it's got that lens on, which you didn't have with Hero 12. But here's what concerns me by the fact that many of the major components have not changed now in 1, 2, or in some cases 3 generations. This is clearly a low-cost update of Hero 12 by GoPro. And why that worries me is that Hero 12 was already a low-cost and low-impact update of Hero 11. I don't think that's good news. While DJI and Insta360 continue to bring innovations, better sensors, new features to their action cameras, GoPro just isn't doing it. So why is that? Well, here are some thoughts. Firstly, option 1. Is it because GoPro thinks that the market doesn't need or want more features or higher specs, but feels compelled to launch a new camera every year anyway? Yeah, maybe. I mean, that could be quite credible. They do still sell a lot of cameras every year, but I think they're losing market share, so I'm not sure that's the one. Is it because GoPro is out of ideas? That's option 2. Maybe. If you look at a lot of the innovation that's gone into Hero 13, half of it's on that magnetic mount system, which is a direct copy, in principle, of the system already adopted by DJI and Insta360. Here's the third option. Is it because GoPro genuinely doesn't have the resources to do anything else? So they're launching new cameras with minimal updates for a number of years now, with a focus on marketing to appeal to the market to show what those benefits are of the changes that they've made. I think that is getting closer to the reason. And for that, we've got to look a bit more at what GoPro is. For all its cool imagery and focus on being hip and trendy and desirable, GoPro is a regular publicly listed corporation in corporate America. The sales are about $1 billion a year, which is reasonably sizable, but it hasn't changed for a number of years now. Sales are quite static, or at least the value of the sales is. I think the volume of sales has gone down. They are definitely losing market share to their competitors from China, Insta360 and DJI. However, the most recent annual performance of GoPro is really not good at all. In 2023, GoPro actually made a loss. Now, if they've got strong backers and a healthy cash balance, then it's possible to weather a storm of making a loss for a year or two or maybe longer. But in the face of strong competition, those numbers are not going to suddenly turn in a different direction in future years. If GoPro doesn't grow, it's going to continue to lose share and become less relevant. But the longer they leave it to do that, the worse it's going to get. For example, if GoPro launched a new 360 camera today, say a Max 2, unless it had a significant benefit over the Insta360 X4, say, like reframe footage at 4K or higher, I'm not sure I'd buy it, and I'm not sure many of you would either. Why would you? Insta360 have completely taken the 360 camera space with innovative products and a heavy focus on marketing. If GoPro launched something that just matched the X4's performance, even with the GoPro name behind it, I don't think it would be successful. GoPro could expand their range, but they have tried that before. They've tried the mini camera a couple of times, and that just hasn't, frankly, been successful. So GoPro haven't really got good examples of where they've been able to expand their product range outside of the action cameras. Here's what I think needs to happen at GoPro. And if you're watching GoPro, firstly, I'd be very flattered, but secondly, please do take note of this. We need some real innovation. A 1-inch sensor, which everyone's been asking for quite some time. Better low light performance, which could go with a bigger sensor. How about front and rear cameras? They don't have to be 360, but the ability to show a creator and the scene that they're looking at in real time would be a huge benefit to most people. I mean, really, that's what I use the X4 for. I never really use the true 360 image of a 360 camera. I always reframe it either looking forwards or looking backwards. Two lenses that are wide angle but not 360 will provide that without dealing with all the heavy distortion and software stuff to sort the image out and resolution loss when reframing. The swappable lenses that GoPro just launched with Hero 13 are actually a good example of what can be done with some thought and perhaps less investment than, say, a new processor. So innovate, 1. 2, and this is where I think we are now, because the problem with the innovation story is I think GoPro should have done that 2 or 3 years ago. I think now I'm buying the Hero 13 because I'm a dedicated, loyal, and I'm a trusting GoPro user. I rely on them. So I think the innovation story is too late. I think with Insta360's growth in the last few years and with DJI's growth as well, the action camera market now has 3 credible players, and there may be more on the horizon too. So GoPro's never going to go back to a situation where they own the market completely. So they have to expand. When they tried to expand in the past, they've completely screwed it up. Sorry, they have. So here's what I think needs to happen. I think GoPro needs to be acquired. acquired, bought by somebody, another company. I think we're in the territory now where this is a realistic proposition. GoPro is not growing, and at the moment, at least last year, it was trading at a loss, and it's dealing with intense competition that is taking market share from GoPro. Yet GoPro still has a powerful brand, a relatively loyal user base, including me, and a solid, reliable product. Being acquired would allow a purchaser to expand the development of new models, capitalize on the brands and the installed user base, that's you and me, and integrate their own technologies on product lines with those of GoPro. I think there's a perfect candidate. I think Garmin needs to take a serious look at GoPro. Garmin, producer of smartwatches, navigational tech, bike computers, marine equipment, navigation, radar, automotive devices, including navigation, I think they should buy GoPro. Garmin is also an American corporation that's listed. It's 5 times larger than GoPro, literally. It's a $5 billion revenue company every year, but it makes a profit of about $1 billion on those sales. So it's in a totally different place financially than GoPro is. Garmin, for example, produce bike rear safety cameras that are pretty good, but they're not even close to the performance of GoPro's cameras when you look at the image quality. So if I want to capture a bike ride, I actually strap a GoPro to my bike, sometimes alongside the Garmin bike safety camera. Same with a car. If I want to take a video of a car or truck journey, I will literally stick a GoPro next to my Garmin dashcam on the windshield. Dashcam cameras are very good. They're good enough to see an accident taking place. But if I had a GoPro quality dashcam, I could do so much more with it, so much more frequently, which means they could sell more dashcams with GoPro's name on them, or maybe sell them at a higher price. Garmin have completely changed the dive watch market with the Descent watch series that they launched a few years ago, and now they've put some dive features onto the new Fenix 8 watch as well. If you tie that in with a dive depth dedicated GoPro camera, again, good brand tie-up, good link of the technologies. This would allow Garmin to make use of the GoPro camera technology and launch products that make use of both brands and both technologies. It would not be necessary to kill the GoPro name. It's such a valuable brand, it really would not be a good idea to do that, but it would be a very powerful tie-up. I do think there's a lot of commonality between people buying Garmin products and people buying GoPro products. Again, I'm one of them. I've got loads of Garmin products. I rely on them every day. I've got loads of GoPro products and I rely on them most days. So it wouldn't be necessary to kill the GoPro name. It would be a very powerful tie-up. Here's a similar example of how that would work. Hasselblad used to make high-quality medium format cameras and lenses, and now that name you often see on DJI drones. There's a reason for that. DJI bought it. That's why you see such a high-quality brand name called Hasselblad on the front of some of DJI's camera drones that are positioned at the more professional or serious amateur camera market. As a photographer, the name Hasselblad always makes me look at something seriously. Putting it on drones? Woke me up. So there you have it. I think Garmin should buy GoPro. Now, this is my theory. This is just me spending too much time thinking about GoPro and Garmin, honestly. But the only thing that would make me change my mind on this is if GoPro launched a Max 2 360 camera later on this year that blew the X4 away with its performance. Nick Woodman, who is the CEO of GoPro, who was also the founder of GoPro all those years ago, he did state that a Max 2 was coming in 2024. Well, he hasn't got much time left to make good on that promise. My name's Julian. If I can run with it, bike with it, hike with it, or film with it, I'll make videos and put them here on YouTube. If that's of interest to you, please do consider subscribing to the channel. If this video made you think at all, please do give it a like. It helps the channel immensely. As always, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon.